Any firefighter will tell you when the heat is on, you need a fire hydrant, one that works. But 5 on Your Side Investigates has made an alarming discovery. Hundreds of fire hydrants reported as broken or needing important maintenance have gone untouched, sometimes for years. And as Mike Rush reports, some of them sit near homes and schools.
The second alarm is being turned off for a fire in the building.
At this house on DeTonti Street, William Wyatt watched helplessly as a fire devoured his home of more than 3 decades. A misfortune made worse, he claims, by a malfunction.
No water. The fire hydrants were dry.
Listen to the firefighters working the scene.
Not sure what the issue is with the water. Yeah, we have no pressure.
There's no water right now.
And in the end, the fire won, taking almost everything.
There's 7 people that have been displaced because of this.
The City of St. Louis Water Division is in charge of maintaining and repairing the city's fire hydrants. 5 on Your Side Investigates asked to take a look at their records, and what we found shocked us. Nearly 300 hydrants all over St. Louis reported as needing maintenance, being damaged, or just broken. Some from as far back as 2012, 2013, 2014. And yet in all that time, nothing appeared to have been done. So we hit the streets and found them near churches, near businesses, and this one near homes and a school. It may look okay, but this fire hydrant here has been out of service for about 2 years. What do you think about that?
I had no idea any of them were out of service. I'm stunned, really.
Some hydrants are cracked, some just plain missing. And this one at Milton in Nebraska reported as leaking at the base nearly 2 years ago. In the Central West End, there's this hydrant on Lindell and Grand near SLU's campus, years overdue for maintenance. In some spots, there are hydrants on every corner. But in this North City neighborhood, there's a hydrant over here. There's also one way over there. But the one that could best help save these houses in a fire is this one, recently fixed. But just days ago, this is what it looked like.
That hasn't worked in forever.
It was out of commission for more than a year. Isaac Washington lives in one of those houses.
Yeah, people could lose lives.
So we put the heat on the water division. Does St. Louis deserve better than this?
We can do better.
He's Kurt Scobie, in charge of the water division. Scobie says part of the problem is an outdated process that often relies on paper.
We don't have a good system to punch a button in a computer and say how many are outstanding.
Despite that handicap, Scobie claims when the situation is critical, hydrants get fixed in 24 hours. But what about the nearly 300 hydrants we found, some that were broken for years? Scobie says our investigation got them to take action. And when did you set these measures up?
We have done that here recently in the last 2 weeks since we've been talking to you.
A busy few weeks. Scobie says they have now repaired about 170 of the hydrants we found, including the one we just showed you. Is that in response to our inquiry about this? Did that shine the light on an issue that you had, maybe?
Yeah, it did, and it's in response to that.
As for William Wyatt,
The city water department failed me.
when he filed this claim with the Water Division in June of last year, the department conducted its own investigation of the blaze. The conclusion?
We didn't find any hydrant not functioning, not providing water when they need it.
Wyatt's claim was denied. Unable to afford repairs, his house sits condemned.
What do I do now to protect or take care of my family?
We're staying on top of this story to make sure that all of the remaining hydrants are fixed. And if you have an issue with a hydrant near you or a tip about another story, email me at 5onyourside@ksdk.com or give me a call at 314-444-5231. Mike Rush, 5 on Your Side Investigates.
Homes, businesses, and lives may be in danger tonight. The reason? 5 on Your Side Investigates has discovered that thousands of fire hydrants may be broken or in need of maintenance, possibly putting you at risk if a fire breaks out. And as Mike Rush found out, it's a situation that St. Louis officials don't seem to want to talk about.
The call came just 1 hour before our interview. Why'd you guys cancel?
St. Louis Fire Chief Dennis Jinkerson was backing out.
I kind of am getting the impression that, that he just doesn't want to do it.
So why the change of heart? Maybe it was this.
They always open like this.
Fire hydrants, like those in Dolores Miller's neighborhood, that she's afraid might not work during a fire because she says
If they were inspecting it,
someone isn't on top of their job.
it seems to me that they would close it up.
Sounds reasonable enough. So who does inspect fire hydrants in the city of St. Louis? Fire Chief Jinkerson says that duty falls on his department, and he tells us that his firefighters inspect each one of these at least once a year.
But when we asked for proof, there was a problem. He didn't have inspection records like these, showing each hydrant's condition during its checkout, or master reports like this, showing each hydrant's inspection history. All of it information that many other cities gather and keep each time a hydrant gets inspected. So why not? The chief told us he doesn't require the fire department to keep these sort of records because he trusts his firefighters to do the job.
Does it make sense to you that the fire department would not keep paperwork?
To me, it doesn't make sense personally.
Expert Mark Voitsberger has 30 years experience in water utilities and advises communities across the country. He says these sort of inspection records help protect cities from potential lawsuits when a hydrant does fail.
There should be a well-documented process in place.
So, we took to the city streets
It looks like it's been here a while.
to do our own limited inspection of some of St. Louis's hydrants.
The bolts are broken, and we can physically remove that. It sounds like it's a metallic clanging. So it's got a live hornet's nest in it.
Our tour was telling.
But I think in a lot of cases, these hydrants haven't been looked at in several years.
Or perhaps even longer. How do we know? One thing the fire department did provide us was this log of problem hydrants that they'd run into and reported, usually to the water department to be worked on. But we spotted something alarming. For hydrant after hydrant, the log showed that the water department never acknowledged whether a problem was fixed. The total? Nearly 2,000 problem hydrants. Condition? Unknown. Some of them reported a decade ago. That kind of news doesn't make this North St. Louis resident happy.
It's a total hazard to all of us in the neighborhood.
Or our expert.
That's 10 years that some of these may be gone unattended or unrepaired, or at least undocumented.
And something else that worries him. It's called a flow test, something done to hydrants to make certain they can pump enough water and will hold up during a blaze.
Not sure what the issue is with the water. Yeah, we have no pressure.
Like the one at William Wyatt's house, where he believes hydrant problems led to the loss of his home.
What do I do now to protect or take care of my family?
But guess what? The St. Louis Fire Department says it does not flow test its fire hydrants. Never has.
What would be a justification, if you can think of any, for not having to do those?
You know, I honestly don't have an answer for that.
So what is Fire Chief Jinkerson's answer? In an early off-camera meeting, Jinkerson told us the fire department doesn't flow test hydrants because he is satisfied with St. Louis's water volume. We also asked the head of the St. Louis Water Department for an on-camera interview, but Kurt Scobie declined, saying he did not trust that we would accurately and truthfully tell this story. He also pointed out that the city has 15,000 hydrants and that some of them are, quote, redundant. Mike Rush, 5 on Your Side, investigates.